Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you are doing well. And today I am here with one new chapter, much practical, much interesting. Globalization and the Indian economy. Before we begin this chapter, topics, let's understand what is globalization. Actually, it's a wide phenomenon, globalization. Today, influence of globalization that we experience in our day-to-day life. Today's modern world, we know that physical continents are divided into small countries. Those countries have their own territories and own flag, government, people, right? And yes, how can we forget economy too? So here globalization is all about integration or interconnection between different countries of the world. That means our country India is connected with many countries of the world, or better I would like to say that most of the countries of the world connected in different way. We are connected. How? My case is different, but generally I am talking that how we means we people are connected, right? So think. We eat food. Do we eat outside that regular traditional Indian food? No. We prefer Italian cuisine, Mexican cuisine, right? Chinese cuisine. So that is globalization. Chinese food we eat here. Italian pizza we eat here. Brought by American company, right? Domino's, US Pizza and all. So we eat Subway sandwiches. We eat that KFC chicken. Those are some common examples of retail chain of food. And even in local restaurant, we eat different cuisine. We wear clothes. We prefer that international brand. I also prefer. Right? Instead of dhoti kurta, kind of traditional Indian clothes, we wear that shirt, trousers, jeans. All those things because of globalization. We become now a global citizen. We are not that like primitive Indian people anymore. Same in the rest of the world. And if we talk about, this is all about that cultural influence, social influences of globalization. Right? Today we speak that English language, that is also influence of globalization. Our lifestyle, our life standard. People before were Indian people using that traditional mud and other things, some kind of Ayurvedic and herbal things for bath, for shower, and nowadays we use shower gel and different things. Globalization. And if we talk about with the economic perception, globalization with economic perception. So you realize that a consumer means the final user, the one who consumes goods and services. So consumers in today's world, some of us have wide varieties of choice. Various goods and services are available in our market. If you want to purchase a simple chocolate, lots of varieties we have, lots of brands we have. Sometimes this kind of choice make us confused, right? What to buy, which to buy. If you want to buy a mobile phone, a smartphone. Lots of models and brands are available in Indian market, and that because of globalization. Similar, TV, home appliances, automobiles, clothes, watches, food, and many other things. Those various things are available in our market that because of globalization. Every season, new models of automobiles can be seen on Indian roads. Gone are the days, if you talk about 90s kids, you have, I think, seen the memes, right? Memes of 90s kids. I'm also 90s kid. And some of my colleagues as well. We are 90s. So in our time, situation was too different. We watch television. Nowadays, I watch Netflix. I prefer Netflix. At that time, we watched Doodles with antenna. That time was different. Not yet, we were not influenced by the globalization. Car, we didn't have choice of. And in fact, we didn't have car for a long time. Till 1999, my house didn't have a car. So that before 1990s, ambassador car were and premier cars were ruled on Indian roads and Tata trucks, not like today like Benz and other. Right. So things were changed gradually, and that because of globalization. So even if we talk about fruits like kiwi, dragon fruit, and different berries are available in Indian market. That time we were seen only in the books. Kiwi I saw in the book only, but now available. Those fruits are imported. That from New Zealand we import here and we eat here. That is because of globalization. So such a wide-ranging choice of goods in our market is relatively recent phenomenon. You wouldn't have found such wide variety of goods in Indian markets even 2 decades back. I am not talking about it 30, 40 years ago. Just 2, 3 decades back. In a matter of years, our markets have been transformed, changed. So, how do we understand this rapid transformation? And what are the factors that are bringing about these changes? And how are these changes affecting lives of the people? And we are gonna find answers of these questions in this chapter, globalization and Indian economy. So I hope you people got the idea about the globalization. In brief, in short, globalization means rapid integration between different countries. And very specific, when we discuss globalization in economics, so we refer here rapid integration or interconnection between different economies of different countries called globalization. Indian economy connected with different economies of the world. We sell our goods to different countries. We import means we purchase various goods and services from different countries. Right, like we import mobile phone, electronics, we export softwares, agricultural products, textile. So this is how we are connected with economies of the world. None of the countries today is completely self-efficient. No. Of course, every country depends on other for one or another things and services. So let's talk about production across countries. Until the middle of 20th century, production was largely organized within countries. Production organized within countries. So what crossed the boundaries of these countries were raw materials, foodstuff, and finished goods. So, like if you talk about that colonial period in India, that British colonial era. So that time productions were done in England, Britain, and they exported their finished goods in different parts of the world, including India. Finished goods. So raw material, like if we take an example of cotton textile, famous of England, British or English cotton textile, but they didn't have cotton. They can't grow cotton due to that climatic conditions, geographical conditions. So they imported raw materials from India, cotton as well as indigo. You had learned about it in 8th standard. They produce cotton textile using machines and sold their finished goods in different parts of the world. But productions were done where? In Britain, in England only. And the trade was the main channel that time, which connected different countries. Like trade with India, they import here raw material, finished goods, cotton textile from Britain, and they exported raw materials from India. Similar to other countries as well. They exported tea from India, processed tea. So this was the situation before large companies called multinational corporations emerged on the scene. MNC, multinational corporation. What is MNC? So MNC stands for multinational corporations and is a company that owns or controls production in more than one nation. MNC is a company that controls production in more than one nation. I would like to add production and selling of goods and services in more than one nation. So generally MNCs, they have their headquarters, main office, generally in their parent nation, in the country from where the company originates. They have many other offices, plants, production, as well as selling channels, servicing channels in different countries, more than one countries, that company considers as multinational corporation. Tata Group of Industries, Tata Motors, India Limited, Bajaj Auto Limited. Those are examples of multinational corporations of India. They have their headquarters in India only, but they sell their goods, they provide their services in different parts of the world. And you know that nowadays that Bajaj Auto's tagline, "The favorite India," because became popular in the world. Motorcycles became popular. Further, we'll discuss about this example again. So, MNCs set up their offices and factories for production in regions where they get cheap labors and resources. What are the interests there behind that setting up factories in different countries or setting up of offices in different countries? Selling, we understand. They want to sell their goods in different parts of the world because they can get more customers from the world. But why do they set up their factories over there? Why different companies, multinational corporations, they have set up their factory in China? What are the reasons behind that? So one more thing I would like to add in MNC, the intent of MNC, the aim of MNC is to earn maximum profit. Remember these things. MNC's aim is to earn maximum profit. So how to earn maximum profit? Because in the market too much competition, they cannot increase price. If they increase price, then people would migrate to other company. So they have to find that lesser production cost. So how to reduce production cost? By getting cheaper labor, by getting cheaper raw material, companies can reduce their production cost. So like before, they could produce a thing in 10,000 rupee due to cheap labor, skill and unskill, as well as due to cheap resources. They can produce the same thing with the same quality with a much lesser price. Right? That is why MNC they set up their factories and offices in different parts of the world. Let's try to understand this. So MNC is not only selling its finished goods globally, but more important here, the goods and services are produced globally. Selling only is not important, but more important is production of goods and services globally. As a result, production is organized in complex ways. Let's try to understand this with the help of example. Nowadays, you know that most of companies set up in China, especially like electronics, heavy machineries, and many other. Reason: cheap skill and unskilled laborers, cheap resources, and government policies. These three are main factors. So, for an example, if we deassemble mobile phone, no Samsung phone, you will find that battery made in Vietnam, camera made in Korea, assembled in China, design in Korea, because Samsung Electronics is a Korean brand. Parent nation is Korea. The research develops sometimes in India too. And nowadays, I think in Samsung mobile, assembled in India, battery made in China, camera made in Korea, some parts made in Vietnam or somewhere else. Because easy to get raw material for battery in China. Service call centers in India. Right, because that company wants to get cheap skill and unskilled laborers, cheap resources, as well as flexible government policies. So wherever convenient, they set up their factories and offices. The production process is divided into small parts and spread out across the globe. Sometimes, for an example, China is good for electronics production, but not good for call centers because people, means those workers, are expensive. They demand higher wages, but India cheaper. That's why it is set up their call centers in India. So China provides the advantage being cheap manufacturing location. Mexico and Eastern Europe are useful for closeness to the market in the US and Europe. India has highly skilled engineers who can understand the technical aspects of production. It also has educated English speaking youth who can provide customer care services. And all this probably can mean 50-60% cost saving from MNC. Cheaper. So if USA based MNC or Korea based MNC set up their offices and their factories in their parent nations like if USA or if Korea, South Korea, expensive for them. But if they set up their factories and offices in different parts of the world, they can reduce production cost 50-60%. Sometimes production cost can be reduced, and this is the advantage for MNC. The advantage of spreading out production across the borders to the multinational can be truly immense. So this is about production across the countries. Right, so here what we have seen, the goods and services are produced globally and production is organized in increasingly complex way. Understood? So sometimes they divide their parts factories in different parts of the world and finally they assemble. That is why in a complex way. So this is about production across the countries. Today enough this much. Tomorrow we'll discuss one more topic. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.